Well, hello everybody. It's Monday Mission Update, the podcast from Die Hard 6. Yes, Sue is not here tonight. She had a previous engagement. So you get my ugly mug for the little introduction. Big things are moving in the mission. So I guess I'm just going to get right at it. Because wow. All right, here we are. This just came in today, folks. Kentucky Legal Aid is a resource partners of ours. Okay, let's read it here. Veteran support is critical, yet often overlooked aspect in our lives as Americans. When we act, Kentucky Legal Aid launched our initiative to assist more veterans facing the risk of homelessness. One of the first organizations we contacted was Project Die Hard. From the very first conversation, Brian's dedication to helping veterans transition successfully back into civilian life was clear. His passion, vision, and drive have only continued to grow since then. We are proud to partner with Project Die Hard because we know their commitment to serving our nation's heroes runs deep. Look, guys, if you don't believe me, believe these guys. Okay, this is a room full of lawyers that checked us out upside down, round and round. Okay, and remember, I take no credit for anything that happens in this mission except for the bad things. Here's the big thing, the Die Hard 1 build. You've been seeing it on our social media. Thursday, I have a meeting here locally. So be in prayer that this little pallet in the back of my truck gets offloaded that day. And then all those pieces start getting inventoried and everything so we can start getting the parts list together. This started as a tribute bike. It's been sitting in my shop since 2018 like that. But you see, this build is going to propel our mission forward. The build is going to be on the Mark TV, nonprofit TV, the Disability Channel. Little Media Wrestling is going to do their part after the build. We want to start this build in January, and we want to bring the finished bike to Hopestock 2026 to unveil it and get everything running and going. We are going to get this all done right, and we're going to have t-shirts available for one day only. When we officially kick off the build with the concept art gathering, that's when we are going to turn on that t-shirt. We still haven't figured out the cost of it. It's not going to be no $20, I guarantee you that. This is a one-day deal, and this is going to build Die Hard 1 that's going to go around the nation. As I said, concept art event. When we know when and where it's going to be, we will let you know. You get to come, give praise for the blessing, and thank our builder, and then put your input into what the final Die Hard one is going to look like. The build, we will let you know. Promotion is On the Mark TV, Nonprofit TV, and the Disability Channel. The tour is Little Mania Wrestling. Now, for all this to happen, it's going to take logistics. And just in case we can't come up with our end, we need your help. We've already emailed Harris of Metropolis and Walker Bluff to host Die Hard 1 so people can come and see it. But we're still waiting on replies. So, folks, share it out. Tell everybody you know. I'm going to run down it one more time. Project Die Hard. You know who we are, what we stand for. We are currently working on Forward Operating Base Rush. The Die Hard drive is every third Saturday of the month. So that means this Saturday coming up is your opportunity to come to Fob Rush and see what we're building. We do a fellowship breakfast on the first Wednesday of the month. Fort Hope will be in Western Kentucky. You go to our website, you find and support our community outreach, our community support program members, ministry partners, resource partners, outreach partners, mission suppliers, and facility suppliers. Those guys have earned the right to be helping veterans through us. They're been weighed, measured, and found worthy. Find and Dine. Our Club 22 is now back. J. Bella's Pizza. We need more. We need more of these members. This is not just a Paducah or Southern Illinois thing. This is available nationwide. If you think you know of a restaurant that wants to help bring hope to heroes, have them email club22@projectdiehard.org. And here's the big one right here, because everybody keeps telling me, oh, you can do this, you can do this. Okay. Here's the call out. Let's try to do this 10% donation thing at Texas Roadhouse one night nationwide. Just think if we could do that at every Texas Roadhouse in the nation on the same night. Fob Rush should be completely done. And then we can go and build more. Six slides, pretty easy. Now, I don't know who to bring in next, but I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to bring in Kurt, because he's here early and he saw the brief. And then together, we're going to bring in our newest teammate. So, Kurt, get ready, because here you come. There he is.
Yeah, so it's a good review. Boy, it's a lot of stuff to keep track of. That's why we do this every week, to go through it over and over again. And it's all out there on our social media. Many ways to help. I was on a phone call today with a gentleman out of the Chicagoland market, just open-ended conversation. How can I help? He ran out of time because he was running to a veterans event, and so he had to go do that. And we're going to talk tomorrow or whenever he can pick it up. So it's just important to be out there and share what we're doing here at Project Diehard, because that's what I did this morning. I went to a speed networking event, and this gentleman was on there, and he caught on to what we're working on here, and he wanted to talk about it. So we got that introductory conversation going, and so now we get to figure out what his role will be with us. So
that's the whole thing. That's why we ask everybody, share the mission. Share it. You never know where God's going to take this, okay? That person is out there that can help this mission. In fact, they're waiting right now to go, where can I help? I want to help veterans. Where can I help? They're waiting to hear about Project Diehard. So, we brought on a new team member, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Someone who's been percolating across the last couple of years, and she's come back fast and furious and just diving right in and helping us out like never before. So this is great.
So doing great things. So you know what? In full transparency, we're going to bring her in and let her explain about who she is, what she's done in life, and why she is part of this team. So without further ado, our newest leadership team member, Sarah Goodall.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm happy to be here. Some of you might already know me if you're familiar with the Project Diehard community. However, I chose to come back because I have firsthand knowledge of what the homeless community for veterans is like. My husband and I unfortunately lost our home after my mother passed away, and we had to raise our children in a homeless shelter in a homeless program for a year and a half. And that really opened my eyes to the fact that not only is this an ongoing problem for veterans, but a good majority of those that are in the shelters are children, and they're watching their families have to navigate all of these things. And a lot of times they get separated based on gender or based on specific times that they can be there or not be there. And that's very difficult for a family that's trying to navigate and just trying to keep a normal everyday schedule for themselves. Myself, I ran my business during that whole year and a half, and it was definitely a challenge altogether. But Brian was one of the very first people that I reached out to when I found that we were going to be homeless. He gave me resources, and some of those resources led us to where we are today.
Well, again, that's our whole mission, sister. That's our whole mission. Now, for everybody that's asking, yes, Sarah is a veteran. She was, how do I want to say this? A mud puppy, a 31 Bravo.
You got it, Doc.
She was an MP. You know, my infantry guys. Let's see. In my time, I've seen 2 MPs thrown off the 3rd floor of an engineer battalion's barracks. We were talking before the show, and one of my deployments was with an MP battalion, and she goes, "Oh, I bet we kept you busy." I said, "Not as busy as infantry." So now I'm glad we could help when you had to go through that situation. I really am. And I'm so glad that you're back. but maybe now you can explain, and don't be shy about it, why I'm adamant on bringing veterans with their families into our facilities.
Well, one of the reasons that I see that is so very important is the fact that we all get separated. There's such division in the shelter communities, whether they mean for there to be or not, that you don't really have the quality of life that you would normally have if you were a housed individual. Things are on a very strict schedule, and you have to follow very, very strict guidelines. And if you can't, for some reason, say if there's a disability or a challenge that makes it difficult for you, or in my case, I have neurodivergent children, so they sometimes don't follow that same schedule. And that can be very difficult for them, and uprooting them in the situation that we were in was just difficult on all of us. So what Project Diehard is going to do with Sawbrush and all of the others that Brian intends to bring forward is to make sure that families don't have to go through that, that we don't have to be separated from the people that we love and are there and our only support system.
Yeah, again, folks, this is why. Right here is the story why I'm so adamant. Okay. A veteran with their family comes to a facility. They get 1 year where they don't got to pay rent, they don't got to buy food. It's there. The whole facility is going to be there to support them, teach veterans a new skill, a trade, let them interact with our ministry partners and explore that there is hope out there. I cannot stress that enough. That's what our facilities are for, a place where any veteran can come for a day, a weekend, a week, a month, all the way up to a year, and get the help they deserve. Kurt, you got anything for Sarah?
For Sarah, well, Sarah's going to give us, almost like a facelift where, with her graphic design capabilities and, looking at our presence, we at Project iHeart, keep beating the drum. Only the best will do. And, so to be able to have your talents, Sarah, is very valuable. We've been getting remarks about, where there's room for improvement. You're falling right into the calling that we've been needing your skills here for a long time, but good things are worth waiting for. So it's been worth.
Well, I help in any way that I can, and I know that the Die Hard window, like I firmly believe, is going to be what. And I said this morning at the meeting as well. I firmly believe is going to be what is the catalyst for people to start to see what Project Die Hard does and the amount of time that Brian and the whole team put into everything that was done.
Well, I had a discussion earlier today, and look, folks, from day one, you don't like my graphics? Okay, volunteer, do it better. I work with what I got. Are my graphics busy? Yeah, because I have a lot of information in this head that needs to go out to you guys. And I'm just that guy. I'm just going to pump it out, pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. But now we have Sarah.
Absolutely. And I'm here to make sure that if anything needs to be spruced up a little bit, or if we need to, figure out a way to better align that information so that people can get it at a glance, then that's what I'm doing.
Look, folks, this is just the podcast. This is just what we're doing to let you guys know what's going on. Our fellowship breakfast, that's just an outreach program. Okay? The meat and potatoes of this mission are our facilities. And what does that take? Support, community support. You want to join the community support program? Your first step is Kurt at projectdiehard.org. That is your first step. Because I'm going to tell you exactly what Kurt's going to do. He's going to send you the application. And when you fill that out and send it back to him, he's going to decide whether or not you get to move forward right off the get-go. And then from there, it goes to the whole team, that application. But it goes through Kurt first. Okay, so if you guys are coming to us to sell snake oil, don't bother. If you are coming to us just to hop on the bandwagon and you think attaching yourself to Project Die Hard is going to explode your presence and that's all you're looking to do, don't bother coming. I'm sorry. I just that way. Rule number 2. We will never use the suffering of veterans for profit. Team, what do you got to say to those standards?
I think that's the bare minimum that anyone could be held for. Held to. I mean, if they really want to help, they're going to step up and help. And they're not going to be using Project Die Hard's name to further their agenda.
Yeah, because I don't use it to further my agenda. Oh, wait, I don't have one. I have one thing, saving my brothers and sisters' lives. That's what I do. Again, everybody, well, you need to do other things. No, I don't. Or
if to do, and that's what you're still doing.
And if you want me to take a break, step up, join my team here. Okay? I don't micromanage. I don't. I put out the needs and boom. If you take on a task, see it through to the end. Ask for help if you need it. But commit to it. Do it. We're still looking for a Die Hard 1 team, build team leader. Someone to lead the team. I'm proud to announce that we have our first veteran applicant to join the build team. They have the application now. So now we will wait to see if they're going to send it back in and we're going to go from there. That build team is very limited. Okay, guys, girls, but this is an opportunity for veterans to learn a skill and fellowship. That's what this build is for. Is it going to help us get our mission out there? Are we going to raffle off it when it's done? Yeah. But that's going to show you guys what will happen on our facilities. Okay, guys, I love it when Sue's here because she knows how to flow into these discussions.
There you go. That's teamwork, growth in action. The three of us are diving right in and getting our on-the-job training. OJT right here to fill in with Sue and she's got to go and take care of other people like she is right now. But to me, I think the magic that we're starting to see here is the stories unfolding. And my hope as an ambassador here is that with this podcast and, like we're showing a couple people, viewing through the one indicator we got on here, I hope you share it out to your social media contacts and keep the link to this video handy. I was talking to that gentleman today out of Chicago, and we were talking about the issue of veteran suicide. And we can't forget that, this is, nothing short of an all-out movement. The veteran community and humanity needs this movement, because when you look at all the challenges of the world and to think of, what are the things that humans have not been able to solve across all of the time that humans have been on this planet, the increase of veteran suicide and the inability of institutions and governments and nonprofits like ours and so forth, that it's a very vulnerable situation in terms of a total marketplace to say we have this issue and all the powers that be have not been able to squash the issue of escalating rate of increase of veteran suicide ideation. And to me, I've got a little bit of an engineering mind, and I really call out to say this is an all hands on deck initiative that, I was explaining to the gentleman today, we're looking for faith partners, and and we're looking for a chaplain, and we want to align with other nonprofits, whether they're a veteran service nonprofit or not. I was talking to Plowshare today out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, and it was an education committee meeting, and their mission is more on the side of fair trade is what they do. They're looking at products brought out to the marketplace and allowing artisans and product builders be able to have a decent pay for what they produce, which obviously goes for our veterans. Our veterans getting the fair income for what they do compared to non-veterans. But as far as their educational journey, they've been having this veteran topic kind of percolating around them. And when I called our veteran service officer, I noticed that the system in our county, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, is very rigged, that it gives someone like me the feeling like the only thing they serve, which, is good, is, benefits, their VA benefits, to make sure they're maxing that out. But what that means is that need for private-public partnership is even greater, because I've done work in the past with a veteran service officer, and I haven't ever had this feeling like the veteran service officer is not empowered to go out there and do community building, to build those private-public partnerships. They're just there to respond to, questions on benefits, and that's it, which is good. I mean, our veterans need max response to that. But it tells me, like here at Project Diehard, we need that privatized response, from, educators, from people in business. And when people are doing all the fun things, that's what I told this gentleman today. I'm like, I like to ask people, what do you do for fun? And then when they tell the story about what they do for fun, now I say, now, how do you think you and your group are doing, making sure that veterans are invited and included, and that you build that relationship that a veteran would really seriously join you, what you do for fun? And that was my story is my story in water skiing. That's what got me on this whole journey, is to watch another group bring veterans to water skiing. That inspired me to say, this is the dynamic that's needed across all the things we do to fill our days.
Oh, brother, I'm in total agreement. In fact, we still have Wren Lake and a couple other big lakes around Fob Rush. Okay? How do we get water skiing down here? I haven't been able to find any local water skiing group. It's like they don't do it down here for some reason. So, hey guys, girls, if you think you want to water ski, and you want to help veterans, I'll put you in contact with Kurt and Sue because they've been in that world for years, and they can walk you through that. And then let's see if we can take some veterans water skiing. I'm not against it. I'm not going out there. Oh, growing up, I water skied, but since I got blown up and I have 10 pounds of titanium, that's not a sport I can enjoy anymore. Everybody goes, well, what do you mean? You ever try to balance on a water ski? It takes the whole body.
And
Well, we do have sit
don't have
skis.
those anymore.
We do have sit skis as far as the balance thing, but to your point about what y'all got inside of you, you probably don't even want to go on a sit ski either, though.
I'll drive the boat.
There you go. Put the throttle down. Let's go.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Everybody's got a roll. There you go. So Sarah, when's the last time you were water skiing?
Oh goodness. Probably before 2008. I was a kid, so.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get you out there again. What do you think?
I would be all up for that. My husband would definitely be the one out there doing all the tricks and all the silly stuff. But.
All right. So, Sarah, what else do you like to do for fun?
Honestly, I run my business for fun.
For fun, okay. So, but you fall right in, like, you know, a lot of people, like with us doing this bike build, you talk about how you know a lot of people that
Oh yeah, I grew up with bikers and military folk, and my dad was a Navy veteran. He rode with several different clubs when I was growing up, and I kept in touch with every single one of them. So when you had mentioned that Brian had the bike build coming up, I wanted to jump in and help as much as I could because those are literally my people.
Oh, again, look, folks, I have a meeting Thursday locally. Am I praying that this local shop steps up? You bet your sweet bippy. But Sarah has been talking to a couple shops up in Michigan.
Yes, I have. Like I said, the minute that you said you had a basket case bike ready to be built and it was going to go and how that's, I wanted to be
but
as I possibly could to pass out flyers, do what I could do to make sure that people knew that Project Die Hard existed, for first of all, and second of all, that you were doing something like this and it was going to make a difference in both the lives of veterans and your organization as a whole.
Yeah, it's going to help veterans. Yeah, the end result, all the proceeds of the build, the raffle, all that, all the quote unquote profit, because hey, things still are going to cost money. But all those profits are going back into forward operating base rush. You see, that's where a lot of people don't understand here, folks. Nobody on the screen takes a salary. Okay. When you donate to us, it touches a veteran. 90% is guaranteed to touch a veteran. That's guaranteed. Actually, 100% will touch because it all goes back to the mission. It doesn't go to personal gain. It doesn't go to personal wealth. It doesn't go to expensive trips. It doesn't go to, it'll never go to a private jet. I can guarantee you that.
I just got done helping a nonprofit here recently where I found out that one of the owners of that nonprofit was using a good portion of her profit to go gallivanting to various places throughout the other side of the planet. And that was one of the things that really made me want to jump back in with Project Die Hard, was knowing that that's medicine here, and that every single penny that you raise goes to help someone.
It goes to grow the mission. Josh is hearing us, and he apologizes. He wanted to be here tonight, but there are things that happen in life, and we understand that. You know, Josh, he's always welcome here. His insight into the kingdom is greatly welcomed. I cannot stress that enough. Yeah, we're in need of a chaplain. Have I asked Josh? Yeah, but he's a little covered up. I understand. The chaplain's responsibility in this organization is to ensure the spiritual well-being of the organization. Work with our ministry partners. Go and find more ministry partners while adhering to the standards of the mission. I don't think that's too hard to handle. Trust me, the right person will come. I know. He sent this team already, so I'm sure God's going to send more. I'm just putting out the need. We need a chaplain. Would I like that chaplain to be local? Yeah. But Zoom is a wonderful thing. Restream is a wonderful thing. Oh, wait, I saw a video today where why are we paying for congressmen to go to and from Washington, D.C.?
I saw that same video.
Zoom. They could Zoom it.
That would make it too easy, and they'd have to be honest, though.
I'm just saying, I've been invited into rooms where they got 200 people in a Zoom room, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not hanging out here because there's no reason to hang out. Nobody can communicate that way. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Since we're talking about social media and things like that and seeing videos, the next person that sends us, well, not us, me, the message saying, would I like to sell Project Die Hard? No. Would I like to lease Forward Operating Base Rush? No. Yes, we are Project Die Hard Inc. because the government says we have to be a company before we can become a nonprofit. But we don't operate that way, folks. We operate the nonprofit side first. Come on, Kurt, you want to say something to it?
Honestly, I can't even imagine anybody asking you if you want to sell or lease. Wow.
I get it all the time, sister.
Quite honest. I'm a little shocked, to be honest.
No, they're generic emails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you own this property. Are you no. But like, we have this property down in Trigg County, right? That was donated. That we're still trying to sell. This is my fight tomorrow. We're the nonprofit. I'm sorry, Trigg County, but I'm not paying you $101 in taxes on property that was donated to us, the nonprofit.
That seems a little backward to me.
Oh, sister, it's not. It's not. This is where people got to understand, yeah, I need the help. Because I need people educated in that type field that I can go, here, please handle that.
Well, I don't have a master's degree in business or anything, but I'm pretty good at the website SEO and graphic stuff. So I got
Again, see, folks, she's doing her part. She's taking her talents, bringing it to the mission. What talents do you have that can come to the mission? Again, if we want to get on that subject, I'm going to reiterate this one more time. God is my coach. I'm not paying anybody to tell me how to run Project Die Hard. God does. I don't need you to tell me how to get more leads. I don't need leads. I'm not selling nothing. I'm giving away hope to my brothers and sisters. I'm hopping on a soapbox. Get me off it quick.
Honestly, I think you have every right to be honest because you're one of the only veteran-owned organizations that I know of that does not take a salary and does everything that he can to help all of the people that he can. I mean, you and I hadn't even spoken for a while when I reached out to you to find out if you had any direction that I could go because we literally had 2 days to leave where we were at. And you didn't think twice about giving me all the resources that you could and, you know, praying with me and wishing me well. And that stuck with me.
Again, folks, that's what I do. That's me. But you don't listen to others. Yes, I do. I listen to my team. Kurt, do I not listen to you guys?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And every once in a while, I go, okay, let's do it that way. But see, Kurt has learned over the years how to, I got to frame it this way for Brian to comprehend.
After a couple of years, I started to get through my learning curve. So, yeah.
Well, it's the truth here, folks.
Yeah.
If you bring an idea, first question I'm going to ask is, how much is it going to cost? It's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
After that is, how does that benefit veterans? Like Mark on the Mark TV. Applaud him. Everything he's doing for this mission, I love it. But we're offering people, companies, organizations 2 minutes. That's what, 120 seconds? Exposure to now well over 500 million worldwide. And all you have to do is join our community support program. Kurt, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I think that's
Yeah, the proverbial no-brainer. Yeah, I've been running business circles a long time, and this is an unparalleled offer, and it shows the heart of Mark Balin and Anthony Sorelli and Eric Zulli and the crew that makes those reaches possible. That this is a humanitarian group. They want to build this up, which means a lot to me, because I tell the story about a couple decades ago. I went to our NBC affiliate here in Milwaukee, and I walked into the gentleman's office that I was pointed to talk about the ideas I had about connecting the media out here, and he cut my explanation short because he heard that I was coming in with a do-gooder positive news slant, and he just stopped me mid-sentence and said, "Sorry, Mr. Roscoff, that stuff doesn't sell. I got to get back to work. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." And I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, if that's the bottom line, like you talk here, bluff, bottom line, if that's the bottom line, but he also, cut it off very rudely. When I left NBC out of Milwaukee that day, I'm like, wow, I need to get on a track where our community work is not up against, that type of frame of mind, which surprised me because I used to be in the golf business. We had a lot of success with NBC with our Beat the Pro program at our golf course. So it just really stymied events, but so it just really speaks loudly to the industry of media, and have folks like Mark Balin, give us the self-syndication approach and the, streaming television access and all the things, we need things to turn a corner like that. So everything's coming together in just phenomenal timing. So we know we're following a plan, that's greater than us.
Oh yeah, that's it, folks. Look, Mark wanted to do for Project Die Hard, and I'm like, great, brother, great. But I went, how can I help those who help us? And that's where we ended up with this 2 minutes out there. Who you are, what you do, and why do you help Project Die Hard? That's your 2 minutes. See how that works?
I'll be the first to say that that's a heck of a deal, because I've spent way more than that doing advertisement for my own business. And I know that a 2-minute spot like that costs between 5 and 10 grand if you're looking like the big syndication networks. I've looked at it. I've saved for it. All of those funds went to the last year and a half of housing. But I knew, growing a business was going to be a very difficult thing if I was going to do it on my own. And knowing that he's offering that to your people that are willing to be community support partners, that's huge.
Again, you just have to reach out.
Doing your part to support your fellow humans, honestly, is not that hard.
Yeah. We don't ask a lot of our partners. You can email Kurt at projectdiehard.org, Susan at projectdiehard.org, community at projectdiehard.org. Yeah. Again, folks, everybody reaches out to me personally, and I love it, but I don't run these things. This podcast that we're on right now, I have a little pull on, hey, I want this person on as a guest. I got a little pull on that. But 90% of the time, Monday morning, when we do our leadership huddle, and I ask, do we have a guest? And when they say, yep, I go, okay. I don't micromanage my guests. If you reach out to me directly and I say, email this person and make sure you tell them I sent you, there's a reason why I tell you to tell them that I sent you.
And it does happen. I get those emails. It literally says Brian sent me. It's really good. Yeah, which that's by design. So yeah.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, I was just gonna say with the other talking we were doing about Mark and the good deal that coming through our community partner program and getting that exposure opportunity, there's a lot of wisdom, around, bundling it that way. I was talking a little bit at the first half of the show about private-public partnerships. So for the last 20 years, I've been practicing this application of marketing and media and with businesses for nonprofit work, and it's called affinity and cause marketing. And it's very effective in the business world to attach yourself to a mission such as ours, the affinity of veterans, the cause of suicide prevention, because when you're, making your offers or you're making yourself available out in the marketplace, being available in a very specific place, like say with what we're doing with Little Mania and Midget Wrestling All Stars, that's a very tight niche there, and specific demographics that are drawn widely, through an offering like that. And Mark Balin is, a great partner that way, that he can get us attached to demographics, in a way that other media, doesn't accomplish quite this way. So that's what I'm doing. And Brian and I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, which I aligned myself with that because it's business networking with a social enterprising slant to it, and I think that's where it worked well with what we're doing with veterans. It was a good fit there at the Happy Neighborhood Project. And earlier today, I was on with All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connections. So, got some more veteran community connections there. And so that's being said, it's putting it out there in this podcast to get your ideas. So if you're listening to this, if you have other suggestions, bring them to me and, help me keep cultivating all these outreaches. That's what I do as an ambassador. I'm a person fulfilling outreach to bring new, new faces, new talents, and help coordinate things like with Sarah here and so on and so forth.
Again, folks, this is how it works. Yeah. I don't know what else to talk about here. But we are close to our time. Wow. Susan is right. This stuff goes fast when you're having a blast.
Yeah, that's how all this stuff works. We, I'll come to the table. Everybody does their part. Many hands make light work. And when you feed off of each other, that's what gets us through it all. Because, if we were left in our workspaces alone without the team, things would be crawling along pretty slow. But with the energy we get with each other, and we're looking forward to being introduced to new people, to this mission. So that maybe that's you, maybe that's somebody out there. So it's all about introductions. It's kind of like we say here at Project Die Hard, if you don't ask, you're the one saying no.
Mm-hmm. Actually, what I say is if you don't ask, it's an automatic no.
Yeah. Well, obviously, when you tell me stuff, Brian, I digest it and put it back out in that Kurt Roscoff flair, right?
Yeah, I got it, and I love it. But Kurt just made a point here, folks. Yeah, you're saying no when you don't ask. I love that strategy. So if you're not asking somebody to help this mission, you're saying, screw it, I don't need to. So that means you don't care about veterans dying every day.
That's exactly right. I've told a lot of people that in the last couple of years, and people get it. I mean, it's not, nobody rebukes me. Nobody takes any other slant. It's like point made once I say that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we close out every other show, we're going to let Sarah start this one. Sarah, as we end every other show, we ask everybody on the screen to enlighten veterans, give them a message of hope or something, so we'll see them next week. Okay. So
my message of hope is that you have come this far. You can continue. If you need somebody to sit with you in the dark, I will always do that. Brian, you have my contact information if you would like to share it with them. Doesn't matter the time of day. If you need someone to sit with you when the demons come, I will be more than happy to sit with you. But more than anything else, you made it through today, you can make it through tomorrow. There's always somebody who cares.
All right. Kurt?
I'll add my phone number out there for calls and texts, the 262-372-1754. I'm not a veteran, but I've learned through veteran services how important it is that all of you vets be able to connect together. So as an ambassador of Project Die Hard, I commit to be able to do that. And I learned about, the idea of higher equal care or attention, through a little bit of customer service. They always talk about escalation and customer service centers. And I was an EMT for 10 years. And that was our commitment as an EMT to, not leave a patient until they're put in the hands of somebody or equal or greater care. And, in speaking to, the issue that you find yourself in, I talk about, how it's a problem and how, we're mustering a response, to what you're dealing with. And, in the circles I run and in personal professional development programs I go to, they talk about how, imagination and creativity and innovation, a lot of stuff that, likely doesn't mean anything to you. It's, because to me, I would gather that if you're in the throes of darkness, it's probably hard to set your mind to that. But I guess that's what I want to declare my commitment is that with my engineering mind and so forth, I'm here working for you. And I also look at needing self-advocates because, like I said, I'm not a veteran. So I need you to help me do the work I'm trying to do on your behalf as a non-veteran to make sure I'm getting it right, not just for you as a veteran, but for all of your brothers and sisters who are veterans. So please help me. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Yeah, he almost said Sue. He almost did. All right, guys, girls. As that song goes, you can only go so low before you will look up. Okay? If you're that low, just look up. He's there for you. If he could save me, he can save you. I guarantee it. But you have to keep driving every day. Every day. The old adage, looking at the watch, right? Because I did this too. Whenever I started a course in the Army, the day I arrived, 0 day, I looked at my watch. Okay, it's this time. I did everything in my power to be there the next day at that time. If that's what you have to do, do it. If that's what you have to do, do it. It is now 19:30. Heck, be here tomorrow at 19:30. And then do that again and do that again. And be sure to be back here next Monday at 18:30 when we go live again. And bring friends next week. All right, y'all. Have a good one.